Our next guest is a new addition to our adoption floor. I'm pretty sure he's the only full hound that we have right now. This is York, and he is a Coonhound, and he is, all hound. He is your stereotypical hound for sure. And with the exception of one thing, is that he's relatively quiet. Comparatively to my hound experience, he's pretty quiet. In fact, he's so quiet that he's housed next to Harley, who doesn't like loud, rambunctious neighbors. So he is about 8 years old. So he is an older dog, starting to show some of those signs of being an older dog, some lumps and bumps in some areas, some, graying spots, but do not by any stretch think because he's 8 years old that he's just going to be your calm little lap dog, because he is a very active dog. And in typical hound fashion, he does like to follow his nose wherever it happens to lead him. And he will be on the hunt for all the good smells. So when he walks, he does pull a little bit, pulling to get to all of those smells. He is a dog that will counter surf, looking for all kinds of interesting things, probably also get into some trash. So definitely, if you're not used to having a hound in the house, or a tall dog like this one, you might need to do some various things to protect, food on the counter, trash cans, have a lid, those types of things. But he is a very friendly dog. He does get excited and jump up. He definitely could use some good manners work, which most of our dogs do need that. But as you can see, he does enjoy, pets, and, he's leaning into Sean, getting those ear rubs. Doesn't seem to have an issue with other dogs, which is always a good thing. But again, definitely needs to work on a few of those manners for sure.
So York's owner chose to surrender him to the shelter. Why was that?
So he said that he was struggling to keep him contained, which is something I think a lot of people don't realize. Certain dogs, hounds in particular, like to follow their nose. And if they smell a squirrel, they will follow it. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to stay in their yard. So when you have a hound or any animal that's prone to, chasing, fluffy things in the yard, or excited when they hear, another dog or what have you, you want to make sure, that your fence is super secure. A lot of dogs will not abide by those invisible fences. And if they do go out of it, then they're more hesitant to come back in because they feel a shock when they go out. So it doesn't allow them to come back into the yard. So making sure that you have a sturdy fence, good barriers. If you have dogs that are diggers, sometimes putting, cinder blocks or some other material on the bottom to make it harder to dig under. Some people put chicken wire further down into their fence, or put the actual boards into the ground instead of just on the surface. So there's a lot of things that you can do there, or just making sure that your dog's always on some sort of leash. You don't have to be a short leash like the one that Sean's using. It could be a long line, which can be up to 30 feet in length. So the dog still feels like they have that ability to run around, but you're keeping them contained and can make sure that they can only go so far, and you're able to kind of reel them back in if you need to. So there's a lot of options to kind of help keep those animals contained when they have a propensity to kind of go on little walkabouts and little adventures. But that's something that we want whoever York's new family is going to be aware that that was something that he struggled with in the past, and definitely is going to need a little bit of help with. If you think you're up for that challenge and you're ready to take on our big guy York here, then you can go to visitfcac.as.me to start that process.